Okay, so today we're gonna get really close to finishing up on our Rainforest Flower, and then we're also gonna do the background in that printmaking way. So you're gonna end up having two pieces of paper, but what we're gonna be focusing on first is we're gonna start coloring in your flower and then the stem. We're gonna leave the background free because we're gonna eventually cut this out and place it on another piece of paper, okay? So I have this visual here that will be up on the screen with some real pictures of the 4 flower choices. These are just color ideas. You can do your own thing, okay? So on mine, I get this back, and while I'm waiting to be called, I'm gonna start coloring it in. So I am gonna first color this whole space with the yellow because the yellow is the weaker of the colors, and if you were to paint yellow as a second color, then it would get really dingy and dirty. And these are all brand new markers, and we want to keep them looking nice. And what we're going to do is the ladder technique, and that's when you use the side of your marker, and you kind of start at the top and color one section at a time. And I like this technique because it really ensures that you're not missing anything. You're not scribbling to be finished fast, and it fills in the space nicely. Okay, so once I have that, always make sure you hear that click, and then I'm gonna take my second color. So this one, I am using this raspberry color to kind of outline that space here. I'm gonna draw a line here, and then I kind of want it to be symmetrical. So what I did on one side, I'm gonna do on the other. So I'm gonna make sure I kind of widen this, and don't worry, there's a gap there. I can use the little tip so I have a little more precision to get those spaces colored. And then on mine, I then drew these lines going through, okay? So this is just all lines. It's not even colored in. And then I did little dots here, and I didn't jab it, I just drew little circles so I don't ruin the nice tip, okay? So while you're working on that, I'll be calling up people to do the background, okay? This background is going to be like the leaves. So you could technically draw leaves on here, but I'm gonna kind of spray this and see what happens, and then I'll decide where I want my leaves to be, okay? So I wanna make sure I have my name on it, Mrs. K, and a 3. So I get it back. I'm gonna set this aside. And then at the counter, there will be foil, and you'll get your own paper towel. So since it's gonna be lots of leaves and things like that, I'm gonna use a lot of green. I'm actually gonna use a little bit of yellow, but I'm gonna use yellow right now before I get too far into the green, so the yellow doesn't get all dingy and dirty. There you go. Let me go back into my green. So if my green overlaps the yellow, not too worried about that because yellow is in green. So maybe I'll use a little bit of blue for some darker areas. I did scribbles. Maybe I do swirls this time. Okay, once you have it pretty much scribbled with your marker, then you remember you're going to use these spray bottles. Now you want a nice mist to come out, so you want to keep it pretty far away. And you can give it a good spray just so the whole paper is saturated. And I like the colors to kind of bleed together, so I can give it a little more. The only thing I don't want to do is spray it so much or with a sharp stream that the colors run out and it becomes empty. Then you're going to take the side with your name on it and make sure that's faced up because you want the good print to be on the plain side. And you're going to place it slowly on top. Then you're going to take your hands, and it's okay if it's getting on the back. I'm not worried about that. And I'm going to smudge all of that, making sure to get to the edges. And then once I have this, I peel it away. I'm loving that. This is what I'm going to eventually glue my flower to. Then I'll put that on the drying rack. I'm going to take a paper towel and wipe this off because I'm going to reuse the foil for other classes. So make sure you wipe it off. Be careful that you don't tear anything so it's ready to go. And then you can go back to your table and, well, I wash your hands first, and then go back to your table and continue working on this.